Welcome you to our public meeting tonight, but before we get started, Mrs. Samantha Roach from Faith Family Church is going to open us with a word of prayer, and then we'll have a flag salute and carry on through our authority meetings.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we just come before you. Your word says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth liberally and upbraideth not. We ask you to give the council wisdom as concerning the decisions that have to be made for El Reno, and that these decisions will be a blessing and be a means of prosperity for El Reno. And we thank you for bringing in people from the north, the south, the east, and the west to El Reno, Oklahoma, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Join with me in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, gang, behave yourselves tonight. Like every one of you are smiling, it looks like you're not going to. I'm not going to be praying for you. See you guys later.
We can do that. Yeah, absolutely. It's now 5:31. And I call the El Reno City Council meeting, regular meeting of Tuesday, July 8th, to order. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Here. Councilman Staverton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Black.
Here.
Councilman Schaefer.
Here.
Mayor Jensen.
Here. We've got some proclamations and recognitions tonight. The first one is proclamation declaring Oklahoma Indian Nations Month, and that will be August 1st through 3rd. Whereas the City of El Reno recognizes Oklahoma Indian Nation Powwow to be one of the largest traditional gatherings in central Oklahoma, and the Oklahoma Indian Nation Powwow attracts many visitors, tourists, native dancers, special guests from across the United States and Canada. The powwow will celebrate its 35th anniversary on August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to be held in the capital city of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribe of Oklahoma. Powwow will offer food, vendors, native arts, crafts booths in conjunction with Cheyenne and Arapaho tribe's annual Summer Fest. Powwow also remains a powerful and majestic event that continues to impact the City of El Reno economically and promoting a better understanding of the nation's traditions, songs, traditional dances. We want to recognize the Oklahoma Indian Nation Powwow Committee consists of Ms. Dara Franklin, Chairperson Christine Morton, Treasurer Jesse Botan, Secretary Dr. David Bearshield, and Fritz Prairie Chief. Members and advisors Patricia Hawk should be applauded for the 35 years of continual tribal service. Powwow Committee hereby proclaim the month of August as Oklahoma Indian Nations Month. Let's just give those people, they're not here, but they work hard on this. Also, we want to recognize, and Chief Brown, would you come up? We want to recognize Chief Kendall Brown for 45 years of service to the City of El Reno. In 1980, Ken began with the police department at the young age of 19. As a jailer communications officer, he has continually risen through the ranks, holding various crucial positions as lieutenant, captain, sergeant, acting chief, and finally chief of police. Since February 2008, Ken has led our community as chief of police with integrity, resilience, and a profound sense of duty. His leadership has been instrumental in numerous initiatives, including his involvement with the county-wide task force in collaboration with the United States Justice and Drug Enforcement Administration. Ken's dedication is deeply rooted in his heritage. He's a second-generation member of the El Reno Police Department and a third-generation municipal government employee for the City of El Reno. His legacy of public service is a testament to his unwavering commitment and pride in serving El Reno community and its members. Ken Brown is more than a public servant. He is a beacon of strength, leadership, community spirit. His contributions to Reno. Let's give Ken.
Now, Chief, you got about 45 more in you, right?
I'm glad you got EMS here. This will teach me not to look at agenda items.
You didn't look at
I didn't look at the agenda. Thank you, appreciate you.
This time I want to invite up Mr. Ed Fowler. He's going to introduce us and give recognition to our new EMS.
Good evening, all. I'm Ed Fowler. I'm the Emergency Management Director for the City of El Reno. And I just wanted to, we have a number of our personnel here. For those that don't know, we did start up for business a week ago today. And hasn't been without some bumps in the road, which we anticipated. But we are up and running and providing good quality service. And I just wanted these individuals to be recognized for the hard work they're doing. I wanted to recognize you as a council for the support you've given from day one on this. City manager, assistant city manager, all department heads. I mean, everybody's had a hand in this. Police chief, fire chief. And, I just really do appreciate everything that everybody's done. We're going to do great things with it. And I just wanted you to come and be able to see some of the folks, the other two, let's see, I believe are on calls, or y'all have cleared a call? Still on call. Yeah, so we're running and taking good care of citizens. And that's what it's all about. And so I just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. And here's your EMS crews. And if you see them out and about, be sure to tell them hello. Thank you so much.
Let's have an introduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know their names.
Well, it says it on their shirt.
Maybe a short, maybe a short bio. What they like to do in the summer.
You guys just want to quickly say your name and maybe your level of provider?
Yes.
Go right ahead. We'll just start on the end.
Hi, I'm Diane. I'm an EMT.
I'm James Sawyer, I'm an EMT.
I'm Dick DeSenso, I'm a paramedic.
My name's Caleb Coco, I'm also a paramedic.
My name's Kirk Server, I'm a paramedic.
I'm Zoe Simmons, I'm an EMT.
Megan Kelly, and I'm an EMT.
I'm Eric Chase and I'm a paramedic as well.
I'm Sean Hoffman, I'm also a paramedic and the operations manager.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to recess the city council meeting and proceed with our authority meetings.
It is 5:39 on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Call the, almost read the El Reno City Council. El Reno Air Park Authority regular meeting to order. Roll call vote starting with Trustee Black.
Here.
Vice Chairman Jensen.
Here.
Trustee Stepperton.
Here.
Trustee Miller. Here. Chairman Schaefer.
Here. C, consent agenda. Following items considered to be routine by the El Reno Air Park Authority will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. We have items 1 through 5.
Move to approve items 1 through 5.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Roll call vote starting trustee Black.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jensen?
Yes.
Trustee Stapleton?
Yes.
Trustee Nether?
Yes.
Chairman Schaefer?
Yes. Moves us to adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now 5:40, I'd like to call the El Reno Recreational Authority regular meeting Tuesday, July 8th to order. Roll call votes starting with Councilman Nethery.
Here.
Trustee Jensen?
Here.
Vice Chairman Black?
Here.
Trustee Schaefer?
Here.
Chairman Stapleton?
Here. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Items 1 through 4.
Move to approve items 1 through 4.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Trustee Jensen?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black?
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer?
Yes.
Chairman Stapleton?
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn and seconded. All those in favor? say
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
It's now 5:41. I call the El Reno Municipal Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 to order. Roll call starting with trustee Nethery.
Here.
Trustee Stapleton?
Here.
Vice Chairman Black?
Here.
Trustee Schaefer? Chairman Jensen?
Here. Consent agenda. Following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Municipal Authority will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separate.
Move to approve items 1 through 4.
Second.
Seconded. Roll call starting with trustee.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black?
Yes.
Trustee Stapleton?
Yes.
Trustee Nether?
Yes.
Chairman Jensen?
Yes. Pulled brings us discussion items. Item 5, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments to approve resolution number 26-006, resolution setting residential and commercial broadband pricing rates.
So we're making some minor adjustments to our packages. We're creating a new one, entry level. Zach, would you mind coming up and talking about the new 100 megabyte package and then what we're doing with the pricing on the other levels?
So we are adding a $35 package, which will keep speeds 100 meg by 100 meg up and down. We're seeing with competitive offerings from other carriers that package we should do pretty well. We give people an entry level, let them see the service, versus us hearing, well, it's too high, or I'm getting this with so and so. So hopefully that will help people make the switch that have been waiting for an offering to help them jump. So, and then the other packages, we're going to bump them down $10 to $15, depending where we're at, also dealing with competitive pressures. So, that's it.
Thank you. Discussion.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 26006.
Second.
Made and seconded. Roll call starting with trustee Nethery.
Yes.
Trustee Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black?
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer?
Yes.
Chairman Jensen?
Yes. Item 6, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments to award project number E24-10, a water line main extension along Jensen Road, and allow chairman mayor to sign all documents associated thereto.
The water line extension from essentially Liberty Energy on Jensen Road, which is just east of Country Club, taking it all the way to Reformatory to the west. It's a 12-inch water line extension. We received bids. The low bid came in from M&T Septic and Backhoe Service. That price was $786,617. We are proposing to use our ARPA funds that we received from Canadian County to do the work. So that came in quite a bit below the engineer's estimate. That would be the recommendation, would be to go with M&T Septic and Backhoe Service.
Questions?
Motion to approve project 10 water line main extension from Jensen. Sign all documents.
Would that be to the
Oh,
recommended
I'm
M&T
sorry.
septic and backhoe?
Yes. 786,600.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with trustee Nethery.
Yes.
Trustee Stopperford.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Black.
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer.
Yes.
Chairman Jensen.
Yes. Just adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will, it's 5:46, and we will reconvene the El Reno City Council meeting. Brings us to item E, consent agenda. Following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno City Council will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed, considered separately. We have items 1 through 19.
Move to approve items 1 through 19.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call, starting with Dr.
Vice Mayor Black.
Yes.
Councilman Stopperford.
Yes.
Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Mayor Jensen.
Yes. No items were pulled. Brings us to item G, audience participation. Anyone having an item of business to present to the city council that does not appear on the agenda, please come to the podium at this time, state your name. You're requested to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Any item being presented must pertain to the City of El Reno business. Oklahoma Open Meetings Act prohibits city council from taking official action on requests made during this portion of the agenda unless otherwise noted on the agenda. None brings us to discussion items. 20A, to conduct a public hearing in consideration of an appeal by Talala Properties LLC regarding the findings by the code enforcement hearing officer for that a certain structure located at 405 West Watts is dilapidated, public nuisance, and should be removed in accordance with 31 of the city code of ordinances. Now declare the public hearing open.
Isaac Williams, owner of Toronto Properties, property for West Watts. Basically, what we're doing is trying to request an extension to January next year to apply for tax credit. We feel that the building is in good construction condition, which we have construction report that we got a month ago, saying that there's no defects in the building, that the building is restricted from being remodeled, anything like that. We also feel that the building was built back in 1920, which is about 85 years old, which was also built, I believe, by the Rock Island Railroad, which is a key part of El Reno. So we feel it definitely would be detrimental to El Reno to tear it down. We're not asking any money from El Reno to do this project. Basically, I got Greg with me, who's with Central Irving Development. He's gonna be getting over the plan.
As Mr. Williams stated, my name is Greg McGee. I'm with Central Urban Development Inc. out of Oklahoma City, and we have been doing tax credit projects for a number of years. We believe this is a viable product, and he has a good reputation with Oklahoma Housing Finance Agency. If you inquire, they tell you that Mr. Williams has been in their system for decades, and he does a good job. What we plan to do is a total rehab of the project. We're going back to the studs, new wiring, new lighting. There'll be a new elevator. We're going to try to preserve as much of the historical integrity as possible. undertaking. The last budget that we put in was approximately, in just hard costs, a little over $5 million. That's why we're pursuing low-income housing tax credits. As you will know, in tax credits, there's two types. There's the 4% and the 9%. We look at the 4%, which is non-competitive. It doesn't work economically. So we are left with only one viable option, which is the 9% tax credits. And that's what we intend to pursue. As Mr. Williams said, and he has the summary, if you guys would like to see it, I think we provided it to staff, that shows that the building is in sound structural condition. It has been secured, there's a fence around it. Mr. Williams is also prepared to board it up again. We'll take a different avenue on boarding it up this time. We'll go from the inside as opposed to the outside to prevent vandalism. It would be a shame to tear down a structure with this much history in this city. All we're asking for is additional time. I come into the picture late. I know this has been something that's been around for years, but it's still a very viable and worthwhile development opportunity. And I think with our credentials and our history with Oak, we will be successful in getting the tax credit.
And while you were talking, did you say you're applying for credit for low-income housing? You'll be putting in there. Is that what I heard? Is that what I heard you say?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And that will be 50 and 60% of the median income for this county.
And you said that you have a fence around it? I drove by at 2 o'clock today and there was no fence around it.
There's a fence around it, on the back. Five-foot chain link fence on the back.
Around the entire property? Or
No,
just,
around the back.
just the backyard?
Yes. Usually the guys.
Well, that's not keeping people out, just keeping them out of the
Well,
backyard.
we could
And there was also an opening in there. There was, where there should have been a gate. I mean, I drove all the way back there.
Guys cut the line yesterday.
So, and it's just like every window in that whole facility's broken.
Well, just like, that's where we got to board it up. Now, security wise, we plan on boarding it up, and also maybe if necessary, we'll have to put an alarm system.
Okay, now you've had this property for how long?
About 7 years.
Why hasn't it been boarded up already?
Well, a lot of times it's been boarded up. If you notice, the boards are up. But if you don't get security or you don't control it enough, you're gonna have vandalism, especially coming out the tracks. So we just gotta pursue it a different way.
Need to be looking at it just about every week and just keeping it boarded up.
Well, yeah, there needs to be control.
It's like it's an abandoned property. It's like you don't
True,
care
yeah,
about
we
it.
have abandoned property. It went about 2 years with no vandalism. In about the 3rd year, if you don't occupy something, it's gonna get vandalized.
There's a lot of talk of pursuing things. What's the reasonable length of time that you would expect to pursue tax credit financing?
The next round is January 2026.
And so is there a reasonable expectation that you're gonna get $5 million in financing in the next round?
Sure. It's competitive, and
So-
I feel good about the package that we put together.
Yeah, that's good, but you mentioned, and you're correct in saying that you came to the project late, and we, the city, have a little bit of fatigue with this building. I own a business just a few blocks away from this, and it's been an eyesore. It's been a problem for many, many years, and so we also have a little bit of fatigue with tax credit financing in this community also that we've had some trouble with in the past, and so forgive us if we're a little bit hesitant to think that that's going to come through. It's 6 years now. It's been condemned. So since 2019, is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct, but we're tired of it leaving.
Yeah. So
So it's not like we can do that. If you got a leak, it's holding us back.
and that's fine, and I can appreciate that. However, it's still your property, right? It's not the police's job to patrol it only, right? And it brings a lot of trouble through there. You know that. And now we're left wanting to kick this can down the road a little bit further, and that's a hard pill to swallow, to think that it's actually going to happen this time. there's a little bit of crying wolf that's happened for several years now. But this time it's real. Yes, this time it's really gonna happen.
This is
Really gonna
my-
get-
this is my first time
Right?
presenting.
Yeah.
And we do have the credentials to back our credentials up. So, you know, all I can tell you is we'll put together a package that I believe is viable and we'll get the funding that we need to. I mean, if you go to OFA's website and you click on tax credit projects, the first one that will come up is Forest Village Estates. That's us.
Village Estates.
On their website. Yes, sir. So, you know, we're pretty confident.
Why weren't you involved in this 5 years ago, 4 years ago?
Wait. That's like asking me, why didn't I try to be president 4 or 5 years ago?
Did you run?
I wanted to. I'm just saying, I mean, that's a question, you know, I've met Mr. Williams, he came to us because of our expertise, now I've stepped up to the plate. And all I'm saying is, guys, you know, if I fell in love with the building because of its historical nature. And it probably also is eligible for state tax credit as well as historical tax credits. So, you know, there's plenty of different funds that we can tap into to make this happen. He didn't have that area of expertise around him previously while he was battling with the city. So, you know, I'm here now, I'm saying, you know, we're bringing an opportunity to make this thing come back to life again. It's gonna be as good as it was when it was originally constructed in 1920. If you walk through the building, there's a lot of history. You look at the woodwork, you look at some of the flooring. He'll be ashamed to tear that building down. Mr. Williams has indicated tonight he's willing to do what's necessary to secure this building until we have this opportunity with OFA. And I think that's pretty reasonable.
And you think $5 million is gonna take care of it?
Well, you know, when we make final application, I mean, you know, there's the appraisal process that we've got to go through. There's the market study that we've got, and we've got all that lined up. Plus, we've already gone through the first round with many of the subs that we work with. So we feel pretty good about that number.
25 years ago, my company remodeled the whole interior of that building. And now look at it. Lasted 10 years or so, and it was Section 8 back then, and it just got destroyed.
I tell you what you do. You go to 31st and Bryant in Oklahoma City, 31st and Bryant, Forest Village Estate. We completed that project in 2017. And you tell me it's run down.
I just can go.
I'm just saying, we do a very good job. We bring in good management people. It's the management that prevents the building from falling into decay. All right? That's what we bring to the table. We don't just bring the expertise of construction, but we also bring the expertise of project management and property management. You violate our rules, you go.
How many units? 48.
48 units?
Yes.
10 units a floor? 10 units on a floor?
Yeah, there's about 4 floors. You know, you got that one in the basement.
Basement, you can't put anything in a basement unless you put a swimming pool down there.
We have tenants down there and it don't flood. If you was there, you know they elevated the floor.
I guess one question I've got, you guys were supposed to give us a plan, a detailed plan on this property. This is not the first time it's came in front of this council. By March 1st, nothing was presented to us, and application was going to be applied for this same financing that you're talking about now. There was no plan given to us, March 1. There's been no application made. Now you're wanting to kick the can down the road another 6 months. And it's been kicked down the road 6 years. So why do we need to go farther? Because your track record of performing and doing what you say you're gonna do is not good with the city of El Reno.
Well, basically, like you said, in the 6-year period, it was all tied up.
Well,
Greg didn't come into the picture.
that doesn't mean just because it's tied up in court that you can stop taking care of your property. Owning property, no, sir, I'm talking, and then I'll let you talk. Owning property has a responsibility. You turned your back on your property for the period of time it's in court. I own property, but it's a responsibility. If you can't take care of your property, then sell it to somebody else that can take care of it. But you just want to, it's gradually deteriorated over time. So why do we need to go forward whenever your track record, you've not done anything that you said you were going to do over not just weeks, but years?
Can I speak now?
Yes, you may.
But legally, it was tied up in legal. Theoretically, you can't go in the building, you can't do nothing to the building myself. Basically, the building, like I said, for 2 years, there was no problem to the vandalism in the building. Building before it was condemned, in my opinion, was in great shape. It wasn't what you call a condemned safety hazard or something like that. The biggest issue with that building prior to the condemn was the elevator. We had a lot of problems with the elevator.
But being an apartment complex, it's under review of an inspection by our fire marshal, city, and that's why the building was condemned, because you were not maintaining the property. You had at least you've owned it since 2015, you had at least for a number of years maintained it, then you stopped maintaining it or let it fall into disrepair, and that's why the building was initially condemned.
The biggest issue was the elevator. That was the one that we couldn't resolve the problem because of the elevator fee. So the strategy to do that, get all the people.
Could the elevator not be fixed?
What-
I mean, I don't know what kind of elevator's in there. Otis been making elevators for way before that building was built. I don't know if it's got an Otis elevator in it, but I live in a 100-year-old house. I understand maintaining old properties.
That was the primary issue, and we resolved that by, basically, if you're a senior or if you're someone who needed to staircase, you move down to the basement or the first floor. You know, that's the way we resolved that. That's still the issue. Code on that. The biggest issue was the elevator.
I declare the public hearing closed. Item 20B, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding an appeal by Talala Properties LLC regarding the findings by the code enforcement hearing officer for that a certain structure located at 405 West Watts is dilapidated public nuisance should be removed. Discussion.
What year did they take ownership?
I am showing May 7th, 2015.
I move to deny the appeal of Talaga Properties regarding and uphold the findings of the code enforcement hearing officer that the structure at 405 West Watts is dilapidated, a public nuisance, and should be removed in accordance with section 246-1C31 of the City Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stepperson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Motion passes. Brings us to item 21A, to conduct a public hearing in consideration of a request by Steve Harvey of Clayton Homes to approve a conditional use permit, CUP, to allow for the sale of mobile homes in an automotive commercial recreation district, CAR, located at northeast corner of section 1912-7. Also addressed as 27. Declare the public hearing open. Please.
we're looking to expand and put another smaller location in, right there in front of Montana. Everybody knows where it's at, right where Montana Mike. We signed a lease back in, I believe it was like, early April. And prior to this, there was a dealership there for quite a few years. It was called McKinney. And, I just assumed, obviously correctly, that because there was a dealership there at that time, and the property's been vacant. I think the property's been vacant for 15 out of the last 2 years. And, I thought, well, this is the time to take our operation, let's put it in, let's have Freedom Homes, which is gonna be, another smaller version of what we're doing, what we've been doing around the corner. So I made application, I believe it was early April, and I think that we were starting to go forward. Then we parked the house there, and I guess that's where everything got excited, that we were in violation, and I wasn't aware of that. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is put a small dealership with an office, with maybe 5 spec properties, or display homes. I submitted over the survey, I submitted over the plot plan, I emailed it to everybody last night. I have a copy if y'all would need that. But that's my intention. This could be a small company. We're just going to maintain right there in the central part of, no, we're not gonna go into the Montana Mike's area. We're gonna stay in that little central area where there's a turnaround drive. So the office, 5 display homes, I can give everybody, if you would require, like the actual drawing.
If they don't have it, you can give it to them.
I have also, there was 2 renditions that we had, and if I may, the 2, because I'm not sure about what size office we're gonna do, but these are the 2 actual renditions. I had a couple of different, I just, the look, what was it gonna look like? So I had a couple renditions of what we've done in the past. And currently, we have 430 locations across the country. This was one of the renditions of what we're going to be doing.
Did you consider, you've got yards on both sides of you that are empty, that are for lease. Did you consider expanding your operations there?
I did, until I talked to Mr. Tinsley and what he wanted. The amount that he wanted for lease was out of our budget.
Maybe that he's stayed empty for a while, maybe his price is gonna be.
Well, I believe the one to the west, he did actually lease that out to Select Energy. I think they hold that lease until next year, but he already has somebody coming in there directly. We really didn't need that much space. What I was just trying to do is keep it where it's just gonna be a small dealership. It's gonna be it's probably one of the smallest dealerships in the western part of the United States. I just wanna have 5 display homes. The homes, when they get there, they're gonna stay there. They're not gonna be coming in and out. They will remain there. In most cases, they'll stay there for 1.5 years, 2 years. We're gonna have offices, so it's just gonna be a sales center. It's not gonna be a service center. It's not gonna be a center to move houses in and out. It's really just gonna be a display center. The original goal is to get people around the corner to go see Clayton Homes. So Freedom Homes is just a smaller version, a little bit different type of floor models than what we're gonna have around the corner. Around the corner, I've got different levels of properties that it's kind of hard to explain unless you know our industry. I can't keep those there. I gotta keep those separate. So we have areas where you can't cross. Like I carry Deer Valley Homes. May have 2 Deer Valley lots. I carry New Vision. I can't have 2 of those. So I'm gonna just keep the small section, just smaller Clayton Homes.
I know you sent us these, maps last night and stuff, but prior to planning commission and stuff, you didn't provide them any detailed plans.
No, it was asked, from me, I was told I gotta go to the planning and zoning commission, which we did on the 24th. We attended it on the 24th, I believe it was a 5-1 vote in our favor by the planning commission. At that point, he says, prior to going to the city council, you need to submit your drawings, which we did. We did that last night. Another issue, and I know I've been emailing Matt, been emailing Kim, we have our new office that we're putting in around the corner. So it's been tough for me to get back and forth to the office with you where you guys are located. So we submitted it prior, but I think it was just at the last second, late last night. I actually got my renditions back from our engineering company.
I know most of the time, plans are all submitted to the planning commission. That way they can make a proper decision. Give a recommendation. I don't know, the planning commission had enough information at the time to make the decision. They just had an empty plot plan, but just drawing something out on the back of a napkin is not, proper planning.
At that meeting, they were just supposed to illustrate what was our intention to do with the property. And they had a vote, and the vote was 5-1 in our favor.
Gonna pave this entire lot except for where the two,
Yeah, well, we're prepared to do whatever the city requires.
and that's an awful small lot
It is.
for 5 displayed homes, one of them being 70-something feet long.
I think there's somebody from Montana Mike's here. I'd like to hear from him.
Afternoon. I don't take that much space. Our concern,
Please state your name.
Wes Sherman, I'm area supervisor at Stockade Companies. We own and operate the Montana Mike's here. The property that they're leasing has been pretty much left alone for at least 3 years. We've been mowing it for the last year and a half at our expense, just because of the visual coming around the corner and the fact that we have people parking right up against it. The drainage along Country Club, the drainage along the road, the curb is deteriorating. I haven't submitted anything because I didn't know what my rights were, but I do have a picture of what my concern is, if I'm allowed. And like I stated earlier, I'm not opposed to anybody being able to make money. That's what we're in business for. I'm just concerned about the fact that what you're gonna do to keep the property better than what the person you were leasing it from has been. But if we have a bunch of weight and stuff, if anywhere on that property, that ditch is already starting to show tremendous deterioration just from water. And I felt something needed to be done with that before there was actually a business put into the property. I'm glad to hear that there won't be a bunch of homes going in, but that's just a selfish glad, because we already have poor visual for the property we own. That's nobody's fault but our own. It's not mine. I've only been around 5 years. The restaurant's been there a lot longer. But that was the concern I wanted to bring forth is, aesthetically, will the area
sign already in place that was put in there about 12 years ago by McKinney Homes. It was a manufactured home. We're using that just for the sign. We're gonna maintain the property. If you drive down I-40, if you're heading westbound, look over at our store. We spend a lot of money every year to maintain it, a lot. Our yard, our road frontage from the highway, they're very strict with DOT how you keep your frontage. And we've been there for 20 years, we have no issues whatsoever.
I'd like you to speak on behalf of the city.
We received the updated site plan late yesterday afternoon after agendas had already been sent out. At this time, I don't think we can provide an updated recommendation as Development Services staff as well as Fire Marshal hasn't reviewed the updated site plan as of yet. Also, I'd like to know if besides the site plan, it would still have to meet building code as well. And so that's something else I think we'll have to discuss.
Thank you. Oops.
Hi, I'm Linda Kelly, and I bought that property in, across the street there back in 1966. I remember well since my son John was born in 1966. And I paid to have all the sewer and water put out to that area, and have spent a long time since then fighting with the city of El Reno over the water problem that was caused by the home addition, which we did address fairly well for a while. That water problem you're talking about undoubtedly is still part and parcel of the fact that they came in, quite frankly, on our sewer and water we paid for to come all the way from Elm Street across and put in the development they put in. A lot of nice houses, a lot of nice people live there, but it is not really something that is relevant to this property, okay? And to the young man that has Montana Mites, you know, that was Sirloin Stockade for many years, and it was always that way. As a matter of fact, originally there was a Texaco service station sitting there.
I've heard
that
that.
really rocked it off, okay? I'm sorry they haven't been taken care of it like they should have. John's been pretty ill, and but they will get that taken care of. We did have exactly this sort of situation there for many years, okay, and nobody ever complained. It is something that is visual in the city of El Reno. I can take it to a lot of places, okay, but mainly, right now, all it is a vacant lot that looks pretty ugly. I agree with that. It needs to be taken care of properly, and basically, John is just allowing the people in the new restaurant there to use it as parking, because there's no way to keep them from doing it anyway. And it just, you know, is what it is. But from everything that I understand, you know, this isn't gonna be a huge money-making project, but it will be a cleanup project, which will make a nice thing because according to them, and they're not in town right now, that's why I'm here, the things that they have, that this company has done have been very acceptable, okay? You know, if we don't like the way that corner looks particularly, we might talk to the people who bought our property across the street and have them get started on getting that cleaned back up. But I think that the planning committee pretty much told you all that they thought this was not an improper use of that property. And I don't think that, I mean, they didn't look that bad before, okay? This is all I can tell you. You know, I'm 85 years old, so
I had in mind what it was. I don't know what order, I don't know how that messes things up. Messes things up in my mind about what's supposed to happen here. And, the water issue that's talked about, talking about drainage, just a drainage issue. Just, I mean, because now if we're talking about concrete more, we're talking about retention. Like there's a lot of
Site development requirements.
site development that would have to happen, right? And I don't know if there's enough space for that. That water runoff, and I don't know. It's hard to know.
Totally blacktop.
Yeah, so I just,
It has nothing to do with send out information. Courthouse.
Have an idea what's going on, you know, this.
Well, yeah, we already been, we went through with the planning commission, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, but saying this. With the planning commission, it was on June 24th, we went through everything, they illustrated everything to that point. It was five to one, it was one person, Michael Freeman, who did it like that, and everybody else was unanimous with it. And so, it was, at the time, it wasn't like given to us, like, we all know the corner, we know what we're talking, we know what it's gonna look like. And so I was told to submit it prior to, and so now that everybody's got a copy of it, that's what's my, if I didn't know if there was a time frame to actually have it in, so I apologize for that.
One problem, we're out of public hearing. If you had a time to speak before this, that we're not in public hearing anymore. One challenge we've got with that corner and development, Department of Transportation is gonna widen Country Club Bridge into a 5-lane road. Country Club will be widened to probably at least 4-lane going south to Jensen Road. House is being built west on 27th Street, that whole corner area is gonna need to be redesigned. And no, it's not there today, but it's coming in the near future. With potential development of to the east.
Well, I agree, Steve, and I've seen Clayton homes all over the state and always look nice. Property is always well kept. I don't think it's anything about Clayton Homes. I don't know if this is the right corner for that. I don't know that. With what, and with regards to what you just said,
I don't think it is. I make a motion to deny the conditional use permit for 2700 South Country Club Road.
Second.
Made and seconded, roll call vote starting with Councilwoman Nether.
Yes.
Councilman Stepperfin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
vote no.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Motion passes. Moving on to A, presentation of an Adams Park master plan by half. Mr. James Hazard.
Good evening. Presentation is up. Almost. So, the Adams Park Master Plan is, a culmination of over a year's worth of time and effort. Our experience throughout the entire project has been phenomenal. A community that I've really grown to love. I've never been to so many community events, and majority of those events were in Adams Park itself, which speaks to the project and kind of the vision that helped cast what we'll be talking about tonight. Jordan Evans and other planners, landscape architects, have all worked on this project to get to where we're at today. But in addition, there's several members that sat on the technical committee or the advisory committee, some of this room and others, and we couldn't have done this project without them. So, big thank you to those groups, their input, as well as the community and all the events that we've gone to. The amount of engagement, typically we don't get this level of engagement on projects, just the number of festivals and events that we've gone to. Again, having that community input and buy-in into the project, I think speaks to the product that we'll talk about today. So where we're at in the process is something we'll talk about, as well as the feedback that we have gotten, the draft master plan for your review, and then basically our recommendations and how to implement this moving forward. So we're at the end. This overall timeline, you can see we've been in the community, we've done all of the steps, we've met with all the committees. This is really the point where we're looking for final feedback, any sort of comments before we wrap up the report and deliver it to you all for adoption. And so just to kind of reflect back on some of the early process, we really wanted to define what this project would be, and that really starts with the advisory committee that we work with to establish a goal, vision and mission for the project. So think big. They wanted something grand and cohesive, and over 650 acres, it's hard to be cohesive. And so that was a big obstacle of the project, and something that I feel like we accomplished pretty well in the end. But they wanted to be equitable, maintained, safe, and accessible. A lot of outdoor activities and amenities, and then a destination. So you're very lucky to have this type of space, the size and everything that's there. It is really well positioned to be a destination, not only for your community, but for the region. We know how successful Route 66 is, and there is some engagement with that alone in Adams Park. We think that we can capitalize on that and really use that attention and that destination to build an excellent product for this community. It's leveraging dollars that are coming in from other states, from international travelers, and reinvesting that in El Reno. And I think that's the exciting thing. There may be some concern about bringing in additional visitors and occupying a space that is meant for the community, but I really think that in the end, this allows you to develop and invest in property and amenity that will serve your community. And then also will allow you to invest in other properties. So if Adams Park and the lake can be self-sustaining, then that allows you to reinvest and redirect your other dollars into the other park spaces throughout your community. And that's really what we started off with in the beginning, was looking at your entire park system, and then ultimately focused in on Adams Park. So the vision statement for Adams Park is an active, accessible, and vibrant community space that stands out in the region. Again, we want this to be something that the community is proud of, that has a regional draw. And then to build on that mission statement, we really want to increase the quality of life through recreation, making Adams Park a vibrant hub for the community, wellness, regional tourism, and sustainable growth in El Reno. Knowing that people are moving out in this area, this is one of the fastest growing counties in Oklahoma. Doing the planning for these types of spaces and anticipating that growth is an excellent step in the overall project. So just some things that helped us get here: equitable access, as I mentioned, quality spaces, active parks and natural areas. These are all things that really came through in the fabric of the project that you'll see in our recommendations towards the end. And as I mentioned, we've engaged with the community a great amount throughout the project. And the most recent thing was an online survey where we posted concepts that led us to this draft master plan. The results of that, we had 81 people engaged in the survey. We have a good spread of age and demographic on that to let us know that it reached, you know, a good broad audience, that we got good tangible feedback. And that a good amount of those respondents were in El Reno themselves, with a small portion being outside of El Reno. So a great feedback into ultimately what led us into the draft master plan. And this is just kind of a highlight here of that type of feedback that we got. Really overall positive and encouraging, supportive of the project. And we did make some revisions to accommodate, you know, some of the comments that we received. Because as much as experience as I have, and as we've heard from the community, this is really meant to reflect the community vision and what the community wants in this space. So it's not up to me to say what's in this space. The product that you see here is from the feedback, from the engagement. This is what your community wants. And so we had two concepts that we ultimately consolidated into the draft master plan. From all the engagement, we had a pretty good understanding of programming and knowing that we were going to maintain or improve the spaces that you already have. And I think that's a huge asset in the park as well, is the ability to just improve on what you have. There's no need to scrape it clean and start over. You have a good foundation. And that led us to two concepts that were somewhat similar, but had different programming, different layouts, and ultimately led into the draft master plan. So one of the things that we did during engagement was to ask people, what is Adams Park? And maybe humorous or insightful was to see that people circle all different parts of Adams Park in El Reno. I mean, 650 acres, that's a problem. It's kind of hard to, again, make a cohesive space. So as we went through, we looked at your current signage and wayfinding, and that's an element throughout the park space. This is going to take a while. That really, it was hard to identify. You have so many different stakeholders and so many different programming elements throughout the park space that it needed to be kind of readdressed to brand Adams Park as a whole. And then there would be sub-areas within Adams Park. There's a lot of destinations within the park itself, the golf course and some others, but kind of regionally branding destination areas in the park. So starting up on the north end, feeding off of the Sunset Boulevard, that would become the Sunset Commons. And these are, you know, our best attempt at what we think reflects the community and what could be representative of the areas within the park. So everything basically north of Sunset Boulevard would be Sunset Commons. Then we have a focus on Sunset itself and the improvements there. As you move south, the existing Pecan Grove would become kind of the Grove. It's defined by a creek and a roadway, and it's kind of defined by itself. To the east of that, what really I consider is the heart of the park is maybe what most people consider Adams Park, and we would kind of brand that as the Bend. It's in a natural location in the 4 Mile Creek Bend as well as the roadway. It kind of encompasses all the different programming that would happen there without kind of being too specific on, you know, the playground or the soccer fields. There's a lot happening in the Bend area. And as you move south, you do have the golf course. It takes up a good amount of the space in the park. But then moving south, even rebranding the campground. So right now it's the Lake El Reno RV campground, and we would want to kind of generalize that naming convention to just the Lake El Reno campground to represent some of the improvements that we would be recommending. And then as you move south on the bottom or the south end of the lake, really it's one of the only other areas that's kind of untouched or more natural. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of growth happening, and it's easy to take for granted the open spaces that you have now. But as rooftops come in and more businesses invest in your community, those open spaces and natural spaces are going to be more valuable moving forward. So it's important to set that standard or that expectation now and try and preserve some of that, but also make it accessible. So bring in nature trails, educational signage, make it something that, you know, it can be a retreat from El Reno or people coming in from Oklahoma City or just travelers that want to get out and walk in nature or more natural area. And then as you move back on around a small pocket there for some day-use facilities to help activate the west side or the northwest side of the lake. It's kind of dormant right now and a little bit unkept, and I think by bringing people over there, that would help activate that side of the lake. It would also allow people to kind of retreat over there and have different types of events and programs. Are we back in? No. And of course, I left my.
I'm very
slide
impressed
deck.
at your memory.
My slide deck on my table, and the images speak for themselves. So the next slides that would happen are really the enlargements of each one of these areas that we talked about. The Sunset Commons, we want to maintain your sports fields, although there are improvements we need to keep up with, just standards and maintenance there. There could be some pretty sizable improvements there, but ultimately those ball fields and what the school district owns, the other two baseball fields, as well as everything that happens kind of in the bend area, the soccer fields, and then what are the practice football fields in the Grove. The way the programming works is there's just not enough space. There's too many things happening in one space, and ultimately we would recommend that while some practice facilities remain in Adams Park at least for the next 20 years, there's an opportunity to really invest as a community in more sports premier facility that maybe the university could partner with you on and use there. But also, we heard from our stakeholders, our focus groups, that a lot of your youth is going to other towns just outside of El Reno because they have better facilities, or their leagues or tournaments are happening elsewhere. So you're losing not only those dollars, you're not bringing people into your community, but you're losing the people that are here. And I think that's a way to keep them here, keep your youth here, build your sports program back up.
And I'm going to interrupt you for just a second, since the images to see what you're describing, I don't want to waste your time with that while it reboots. Do we want to move on?
I was
to
gonna,
a
can we,
business?
yeah.
And then like pause for a second, then come back to it. But I do understand, Zach mentioned that we lost me also in the process out to Facebook, so I suppose we can continue to conduct business, right? That would be on the reboot, is that? Call us back.
Time to upgrade to Mac.
We don't have this when Heston is here. He's ignoring me.
The images, I can say a lot less words, so I'll wait.
Well, in this process, James and Jordan presented to the Parks Board, this has been a couple of weeks ago, and presented and good feedback there, a couple of suggestions I think came out of that meeting, but that was quite a lengthy presentation. I think it was more of a 45-minute
Yeah, a little bit more in depth. This is meant to be
Our board was receptive of all the ideas, and it was made up of the Parks Board and also steering committee members from that department.
Yeah, ultimately there really wasn't much adjustment needed. Also, just as a visionary kind of master plan project that this was, there are going to be things that people feel tied to, that they grew up, using and experiencing in a way that really isn't the best use for the site itself, but also the community. There's a better purpose that could be served to the community. And also, this is a long-term vision. So the things that are going to be represented here are not happening tomorrow or the day after. Our timeline is 0 to 5, 5 to 15, and 15 to 25. So we are thinking in the long term, and ultimately things can be reorganized, reprioritized as funding becomes available or community needs change. So yeah, this is just getting back to where we were. Not again. So we've kind of redefined the areas within Adams Park to be supported by wayfinding. But then we also recognize that there are several important destinations within those areas. The rodeo arena, the field house, the golf course, there are things that we will still direct people to, but trying to define the areas will help in maintenance feel like this will help long term. So starting with Sunset Commons, like I said, maintaining a lot of what's there. You have a great skate park. You have a good start on athletics, some improvements that can be made there. We do see the need to add a farmer's market, an event lawn, compound your skate park there to really accommodate for kind of an older age group of families, and create a space on the north side of the park that can really be programmed and activated with everything that you have there already. And this is just some of the representative images there, knowing that the equestrian groups have a need for additional RV spaces or overnight to help in programming that space and also supporting the Canadian County facility. Sport courts, again, adding onto the skate park with a pump track, which is a little bit different, more compatible with the skate park, but different than what you consider a mountain bike trail or a bike park, a little bit more specialized. The Great Lawn area is really just meant for, just about anything. Yoga, movies, small concerts or farmers markets, swap meets, that sort of thing. And then in general, starting with this area, trees are a huge recommendation throughout. It's the first thing that you experience as somebody visiting the park, whether you're a visitor or part of the community, is that heat coming off the parking lot and shading that, helping it cool down, but then also just improving your experience. And that's kind of a visual representation of what that area would look like. Again, maintaining your sports facilities, but adding a small playground and some other elements to create a cohesive space north of Sunset. And then Sunset Boulevard itself. So building on the wayfinding signage concepts that you have now, adapting that in some way for bookending the park. Because as you come through Sunset, there are some signs, but it doesn't really define Adams Park as you come through. And I think there could be improvements with lighting and landscape signage that really kind of span the road and let the park take priority and not the highway. There's, I think, a striping or pedestrian crosswalk, but really if you're going north to south on Sunset, it's not a safe crossing. So adding signage, striping, and lighting to that would have to be helpful just for connectivity and safety. And so one of the images there is converting the center median back to trees and grass and kind of beautifying it, adding trails and connectivity on both sides of the road, and really just beautifying this corridor to ultimately connect to what would be a larger system of trails. Then we get to the grove space, which again is currently used for football practice, and not to say that that can't happen for a number of years after you will accept this, but ultimately we see this as a really good asset. That if you were to go plant this grove today, you wouldn't be able to enjoy it for another couple of decades. And so, knowing that everything else is pretty well programmed, adding trails and art, pavilions, places that people kind of have more passive recreation in this area, and preserving your grove that's there, replanting it, improving the creek corridor. We see a lot of opportunity for this to be different than kind of the preserve on the south end. This is still a little bit more active and open, and you could still have ultimate frisbee or frisbee golf or pickup games of football. I mean, it's not off limits. We just wanted to define some programming to go into this space. So then looking at the Bend, again, this is kind of the heart of the park, preserving or improving rather your playground, making it more of a destination playground, adding a splash pad element, redefining or reorganizing the parking, but still providing that connection for your festivals, and actually elevating that space, making it something special so that you have your small town weekend and you put your classic cars on display. This space can still function for that event, but it actually serves the event better from what we're envisioning. And we've also reconfigured all the sports fields, so this actually provides more soccer practice facilities as well as kind of reorienting or redefining where the practice football facilities, which could double as soccer practice field as well. One of the things that really connects this whole space and all the way from the lake up Stormont Creek. And some of the things that you can see here would be improvements to that creek. Generally, the water quality reports coming out of that creek are poor, and so improving that storm runoff as it goes down through your system is important, but also we see it as an amenity. It's something that, you know, is just kind of a maintenance issue now, whereas it can be opened up, slow the water, allow it to treat the water coming down, but then also add, you know, an educational component to it, an interactive component to it. The sports fields, as I mentioned, and just kind of creating a more natural environment. I mean, this space is pretty special, in my opinion, and really is the heart and soul of the park. And that's what this space looks like in a larger vision. You can see off in the distance, you know, the community center that we would be recommending as well to take over the old hospital site, utilizing existing infrastructure there. But it really kind of merges this whole area, makes it more of a destination rather than just a playground or just the sports. It blends everything together, makes a cohesive space. And then talking about the community center, you see there just to the north of it a small amphitheater, really compatible use with the community center. It allows it to function better for theater operations or whatever. You can have a better support facility with the community center there. We would see internal programming, you know, yet to be defined. We kind of cast a big vision for that. I mean, that would be a whole nother study that we recommend. But ultimately, it could provide fitness facilities, indoor walking track, or basketball courts, something that a community of your size is in need of. And we see this site in the park as a very appropriate space for that. And then as we move on south, actually, interesting history at this site is the Lake El Reno used to be called Bellamy Lake, even before the highway improvements. And there's old photos of people on Bellamy Lake. And so kind of calling back to that history and redefining what the lake is, or this beach area is, we coined the name Bellamy Beach. And I think that kind of adds a unique historic element to it, but then also just provides, you know, defines a space for this type of recreation. So you would still see your sand volleyball courts, your playground, your themed playground out there that could be improved, as well as improving the beach area that exists there. So laying that back and allowing people to have better access to that. Shade structures, but then one of the other things in this area, just to the west of your water tower, is kind of an unutilized field. It's used for parking, smoke on the water, and other events, fireworks. But a small portion of that could be dedicated to what's called a bike park. And it's a very quickly moving trend. And I wouldn't say trend, it's another type of recreation that really hasn't been utilized as a bike park. A small investment. In fact, I just went to a speaker that talked about the economic impact that Northwest Arkansas is having related to mountain biking and bike parks. Oklahoma City, really this would be one of the few that's in the Oklahoma City metro area, if not the state. One of just, I think, 3 that are currently operating in the metro. And so as we kind of redefine and put focus on these outdoor recreation opportunities, this is something that definitely falls in line with that. Low investment cost, high return, low impact, and ultimately you can still use a lot of that space for parking or just a no-go area. So this is just kind of a perspective view of what that may look like. Again, redefining or adding green to the parking lot, taking away some of the paving, but still providing parking and boat access that you currently have. And then the Lake El Reno campground. Knowing that we're adding some element of cabins to this is what we initially proposed. We did a RV park assessment, and that was one of the recommendations, that this type of facility with your market, where you're placed on the highway system, that you could sustain up to 12 cabins. Initially we would say make a a small investment on that and kind of get your feet wet and show the proof of concept there. But then in addition to that, kind of reinvesting in some of your RV spaces, repainting them, doing some infrastructure and layout adjustments there would be optimal. But this again takes advantage of existing infrastructure that most communities don't have available in the main camp that was there. This taps into that and reduces your overall costs. And these are some of the things, so kind of using this RV space as a hub, you know, for outdoor recreation and dedicated staff. You can have movie nights. You all just had a Thunder Watch party out at the lake. You know, these are all things that you could promote for your RV space and bring in visitors that way, but also, you know, bring in your community as well. Rentals for kayaks, and then more of a community space there with amenities, fire pits, and that sort of thing to really make this a premier facility. And again, you all are well positioned to capitalize on the traffic. I mean, there's people from, I'm trying to think of the country, but internationally, they know Lake El Reno. They're coming here off of 66, but there's no way to capture that if they don't have an RV. So building cabins and some other amenities. Once they go to the filling station, they come to Lake El Reno next. And so you keep them in El Reno for longer and extend their stay. And then on the south end, we have the preserve. Again, a heavy focus on maintaining what you have there, allowing the canopy to mature and really invest in that as a natural recreation area with some boardwalk, soft surface trails, and then knowing even for the potential to connect over the highway to future development. We've seen that in communities in the drainage ways that you could ultimately build a larger network and tap into the lake as an amenity for those residents in the future. So beyond just kind of the master plan recommendations, there is a level of phasing that we're kind of initially recommending. And again, these are all meant to be adjusted as priorities change or funding becomes available. Some of the things that you can do now would be policy review to position you for funding, as well as generating some level of revenue to sustain your positions out of the lake and also reinvest in your property. Road and trail improvements, so that infrastructure could go in now without conflicting with any other future improvements. It would start to activate the space, make it safer, and then allow you to kind of infill these larger areas in the future. And then small upgrades to your pavilions and that sort of thing, and just general maintenance practices could occur now just to keep the facilities up. But then larger projects as we kind of step up, Sunset Commons, and then these are all, you know, kind of that mid-range with the lesser priority areas of the beach and the larger projects such as dredging the lake or recirculating your sanitary sewer export of water and maintaining lake levels. So there's these kind of large projects that if you had funding, you could reprioritize them. Generally, we looked at operations as some recommendations. You've already got a lake guide in place to kind of take over some of the responsibilities out there and maintain, keep people accountable for as they're using the space. But then also really engaging your volunteers and activating your staff to be able to kind of reinvest themselves into the property. And then maintenance, reducing your mow areas. It doesn't need to be all manicured, especially if there's some thought into wildflower plantings or intentional preservation there. It also reduces your labor costs with that. Native plants, you already have a great initiative of planting trees and things that are well adapted for the environment for this area, and so continuing that trend as well. And I talked about the riparian areas along the creek, and then general design recommendations, reducing traffic in and around the lake. So currently there's been allowed for some neighborhood connections into the lake, and ultimately that impacts the wear and tear on the roadway loop, but also it introduces a lot more traffic into your park space. It doesn't make it as accommodating or safe or as enjoyable for people that are trying to enjoy that space. So looking at ways to push that traffic outward and minimize how many accidents remaining, really to support that, a wayfinding system would be needed throughout the property, green space preservation. And then I talked about wastewater treatment and dredging the lake. Those are two big projects, but can have a pretty significant impact. And then policies and programs, tobacco-free policy for a portion of, if not, a good part of your park system that would allow for a lot more funding opportunities and also be in line with more national standards and what people expect in their park spaces. Green space preservation ordinance, looking at what your current fees are for lake access, knowing that those dollars then get reinvested into the lake itself to help sustain the property and maintain it long term. We would want to see dollars generated by the lake and the park to be reinvested in that, so that people are encouraged to spend their dollars and feel comfortable that those dollars are going to good purpose. And then really, again, focusing on the destination-based programming, knowing this has the ability to bring in regional traffic from Oklahoma City. And currently, if I want to go on a nature hike, I have to go to Martin Nature Park or one of the far reaching lakes in the metro area. And El Reno is just as far for me. There's no reason why I can't bring my family to enjoy Lake El Reno and some of the amenities that we talked about here today. So really that concludes kind of our whole study. As mentioned, we'll be supplying you with a final report that has all of our findings, a summary of everything that we've done to date and some of our recommendations. If there are any comments that I can receive today and modifications to the plan, I'd welcome those. If not, thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Brings us to item 23. Discussion. Huh? Do we have to do anything? Okay. All right, okay. 22B, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding adoption of Adams Park Master Plan.
Make a motion to adopt Adams Park Master Plan.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call, starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guthrie?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Motion passes. 23, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding resolution number 26-008, resolution of the City of El Reno Council to participate in the Oklahoma Department of Transportation Bridge Formula Program on NBI 03578, project number BRO-209D 145CB, state job piece number 37514.
So this is great news, number 23 and 24. This is grant funding through the Oklahoma Department of Transportation for bridge replacement, 100% money. This bridge, number 23, is the bridge on Alphabel, south of 66, north of I-40. It's in very bad shape, but this will pay for the replacement of it.
Move to approve resolution 26008.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call, starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 24, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding resolution 26009, resolution City of El Reno Council to participate in Oklahoma Department of Transportation Bridge Formula Program on NBI 14555, project number BRO-209D 144CB, state job piece 3875004.
Same program, different bridge on Banner Road, about a half mile south of Wilshire, so between Wilshire and Foreman. Another bridge replacement, 100% money.
Move to approve resolution 26009.
Made and seconded. Roll call, starting with Councilwoman Nethery.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer? Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 25, discussion, consideration, action, and/or possible amendments regarding ordinance number 9380, ordinance amending the code of the ordinances of the City of El Reno Code Chapter 5 regarding boards, commissions, bureaus concerning the Municipal Planning Commission, amending and repealing conflicting sections, providing for severability and declaring an emergency. Discussion.
Considering the reduction of Municipal Planning Commission board size from 7 members to 5 members. As of the end of June 30th, we have 4 members on board. 2 expired at the end of June. We had 1 opening already. So we have 4 remaining members at this time.
Council can be 5 members. Board should be able to do the same thing. Second.
Second, roll call starting Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Block?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Move to declare ordinance 9380 an emergency.
Second.
Made and seconded, roll call starting with Councilwoman Nether.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Block?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Item 26. Excuse me. Nomination appointments to serve on the El Reno Municipal Planning Commission, term expiring June 2028.
With the adoption of that, we will need to appoint one person from the list.
Nominations.
Nominate Kerry Connolly.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to Kerry Connolly. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nether.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Block?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Brings us up to 27, discuss with consideration action and or possible amendments regarding ordinance number 9381, ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, City of El Reno, Oklahoma. Code Chapter 5 regarding boards, commissions, bureaus concerning Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, amending and repealing conflicting sections, providing severability, declaring an emergency.
Same thing for the Parks Board. 7 members to 5 members.
Any discussion?
Move to approve ordinance 9381.
Whenever we have a meeting, we usually don't have a full roster, so to me, it makes a lot of sense.
There's a motion, is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Dr. Schiff.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes.
Move to declare ordinance 9381 an emergency.
Second.
Made and seconded. Roll call starting with Councilwoman Nether.
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Schaefer?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. 28, discussion, consideration, action, and or possible amendments to approve an interlocal agreement with Canadian County Board of Commissioners pertaining to road improvements within Canadian County.
Annually, we enter into interlocal agreements with Canadian County, one or more districts. This proposed interlocal agreement is for District 1 for roadway improvements on Manning Road between Britain and Wilshire, and then on Wilshire from Manning to Gregory. And those are for chip and seal improvements over there. Some of those sections have seen better days, so they need some attention. The financial impact to us is $375,000. The way the agreement is set up is that we would buy materials and the county would do the labor.
That's been a success in the past.
We've had good luck with that. It's a good partnership.
Move to approve interlocal agreement with Canadian County Board of Commissioners pertaining to road improvements.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call starting with Dr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Black?
Yes.
Councilman Stapleton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Jensen?
Yes. Motion passes. Brings us to reports. First and foremost, our prayers go out to the people in Texas, Louisville, other areas, all the events that went on in July. Thank the Lord for us. Our 4th of July went smoothly, and I think the Park was great. Just thank you to the all who worked on it, parks, city staff, and some personnel for providing safety. Police, everybody, I think it was a great weekend. Fireworks show went off without a bang, and it's just a great weekend. Also, Smoke on the Water is coming up in a few weeks out at the lake, and the lake's full. And it'll be, last year was pretty low, but it'll be, should, you know, continues. The weather's been, should be full. Should be for a great weekend. Grass and weeds are really growing, so try to stay up with mowing, weed spraying. I know it's a challenge as the temperatures are getting a lot hotter. Just check on loved ones.
I've had a lot of people from out of town that from our church that happen to be visiting, and we're very impressed with El Reno, the fireworks show, the whole works. I'm trying to talk them into moving.
So, this June, our treasurer, Aaron Fowler, retired, and we've been with us for a while. Over, he's here today. He's been with us a couple of years at this point, but transitioned into this role under Aaron for the last few months. Good to see you. So, very excited. New treasurer, City of Overton. Other than that, we have a lot of new employees. We met several of them today. I think that obviously we're one weekend, but very excited about the new service that we have in offices in El Reno with our new department staff. It's off and running.
Okay, we got our sales tax numbers right before lunch today. We brought in $1,110,473.55, which is about a 5.8% increase over the same month last year. This does exceed our budget of $1,078,000. However, when you factor in the fact that we had to subsidize this year, pulling out of reserves, we're still shy for the month about $75,000. So definitely moving in the right direction, not exactly where we want it to be. On use tax, brought in $179,927.74. This represents a 12% increase over the same month last year. We are missing our monthly budget, which is $215,000, but historically July is one of our down months. So we're definitely pleased with the numbers. That one, on hotel motel, brought in $42,826. This is just 0.8% below what we brought in the same month last year. However, this is above our monthly budget of $36,500. On broadband, we'll put it up on the screen up here real quick. Since our last meeting, we've added 41 new subscribers, which is an 8.28% increase from last month. So we are now at 536 subscribers. And this evening, you also adopted a brand new $35 100 meg plan. So we're excited to see how that works. And here's just a graph showing our growth over there. Good news is no dips.
When do our rates go down?
Sorry?
When do our rates go down?
Effective this month, right? Next billing. Zach's shaking his head. So, construction update, still a lot of activity going on. The good news is we're now at 53 miles worth of conduit, and we got 17 miles worth of mainline fiber, along with another 54 miles of what's called flat fiber. That's fiber running from the boxes to the house and stuff like that over there. Finally, we've got another area that is prepping to go live. So you can see it's over there north of Sunset and just to the east of the west of the railroad tracks over there. So excited to get that going. That's the report.
Brings us to item 8, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.